A lot of Del Webb homeowners believe the market is softening right now. And honestly, I get it. Inventory went up, the median price dipped. If you've been half watching the national news or you heard something from a neighbor, it's easy to connect those dots and land in a place of worry. It's easy to think your moment has passed, that you waited too long, that the peak is behind you. I want to talk about that today because the data for Del Webb Sun City tells a very different story than the one a lot of people are telling themselves right now. Let me walk you through what actually happened here in our Huntley community over the last 90 days. Not national numbers, not Illinois numbers. Del Webb Sun City Huntley, single family homes, your community. Active listings went from 11 homes to 27. That's a big jump. Nearly 2.5 times more homes on the market than were there 90 days ago. And if you stopped right there, you might think, see, that's the problem. Too many homes, not enough buyers. But here's where the story gets interesting. Closed sales didn't drop, they didn't stay flat. They went from 12 closed sales to 29. That's 141% more homes sold in the same market where inventory more than doubled. Buyers didn't pull back when they saw more options. They actually moved faster. Days on market, how many days it took to sell a home? 27 days down to 18.8 days. That's the average. And averages include everything: the homes that needed a price adjustment, the ones that had a complicated situation, the ones that took a little longer to find the right buyer. When you factor all of that in, the average is still under 3 weeks. But here's what that average is hiding. Some of these homes went under contract in 2 to 5 days, meaning the right home, priced right, had a buyer almost before the sign went in the ground. And sellers aren't giving anything away to make that happen. The average home sold at 100.1% of list price, not 97%, 98%, 100.1. That means full asking price and in some cases slightly above. Now, the median price. That's a number I want to spend a moment on because this is the one that's causing some confusion. The median price dropped from 441,500 to 425,000. That's a $16,500 decrease. And if you saw that number in a headline, you might think my home lost value. It didn't. Here's what the median actually measures. It's the middle point of all the single family homes that closed in a given period. Half sold above it, half sold below it. When different homes sell in different months, larger ones, smaller ones, different streets, different conditions, that middle number shifts. It doesn't mean prices are falling. It means a different mix of homes happen to close this period. The numbers that actually tell you what your home is worth are different ones. How fast are homes selling? Under 3 weeks. What are sellers receiving at the closing table? Full asking price or slightly above. Those are the numbers that reflect what a buyer will pay for your home today. That's what this market is actually doing right now. So let's talk about what this means because data without context is just noise. The single most important thing that happened in this market over the last 90 days is this: inventory more than doubled. And instead of slowing things down, it triggered a surge of activity. That doesn't happen in a weak market. That happens when there is pent up demand sitting on the sidelines, waiting for something to choose from. Buyers were ready. They just needed inventory. When it came, they moved fast and they paid for it. Think about that for a second. In most markets, when supply goes up, prices soften and homes sit longer. That's basic economics. Del Webb Sun City Homes did the opposite. More supply, faster sales, higher sale to list ratios. That tells you the demand here is not fragile, it's deep. Now, what does this mean for you. If you've been sitting with a quiet question in the back of your mind, maybe you've been in your home for 20 years, maybe more, you've watched this community grow. You've seen the market go up, go sideways, go uncertain, and somewhere in the last year or two, a thought has started to surface, not urgently, just quietly. Is it time to think about what's next? This data doesn't answer that question for you. That's not what data does. Here's what it does tell you: you're not behind, you're not too late, the window hasn't closed. Single family homes in your community are selling in under 3 weeks. Sellers are walking away with what they asked or more. And if you've owned since the early 2000s, the equity you've built is real. Single family homes purchased in that era in Webb Sun City have seen significant long term appreciation. That's not a small number, that's a life changing number. And this market is giving you the conditions to act on it thoughtfully, not frantically, not desperately, but from a position of genuine strength. What I'm watching here, what I'm personally paying attention to heading into the next 30 days, we have more inventory right now than we've had in months, and buyers are absorbing it almost as fast as it comes on. That's the encouraging part. But summer has a rhythm. July and August bring travel, grandchildren visiting, family schedules that push big decisions to the back burner. I've seen this pattern for years. What I'm watching is whether the buyers who are circling right now, the ones who have been looking, who are ready, who just haven't found the right home yet, whether they act before that summer slowdown sets in or whether they wait. Because if they wait, fall inventory tends to tighten. And a market that felt generous in June can feel very different by September. I'm not saying that to create urgency. I'm saying it because it's what I actually see every year at this time. And I think that's worth knowing. For the buyers watching, one more thing, and this is for anyone watching who is on the other side of this. If you've been thinking about moving into Webb Sun City, this data matters for you too. More inventory means more options than this community has seen in months. You're not choosing between two homes anymore, but the pace tells you something important. Buyers who are ready and decisive are winning. Buyers who wait to see if something better comes along are watching homes disappear in days. This isn't a market where you can take 2 weeks to think about it. It's a market where clarity going in, knowing your budget, knowing your must haves, knowing your timeline is the difference between getting the home you want and starting over. The buyers winning in this market aren't the ones who moved the fastest. They're the ones who came in clearest in their thinking. Here's where I want to leave you today. If you've been quietly wondering whether your moment passed, it didn't. If you've been watching the national headlines and feeling uneasy about what they mean for your home, the local data tells a calmer, clearer story. Webb Sun City is a community where buyers want to be, where single family homes are moving, where sellers are being treated fairly by the market. You don't have to decide anything today. You don't have to be in a hurry, but you can stop wondering if you missed it. You haven't. But if you're ready to understand what any of this means for your specific situation, whether you're thinking about selling, thinking about buying, or just trying to make sense of what comes next, that conversation starts at tamarandaziteam.com/plan. No pressure, no pitch, just clarity.